Should talking about money at work really be taboo, or does that just lead to unequal wages staying unequal?
Yeah, this is an article that people are really sharing from The Atlantic by a guy named Jonathan Tim, who discussed basically what the stigma is around explaining a lack of transparency and its unfair pay gaps for women and people of color. And what's interesting, in 1935, the National Labor Relations Act was passed that said to people, you can talk about money at work, you should fraternize with your coworkers, you can collectively bargain, and you can prevent mismanagement by doing exactly what the employers are telling people not to do, which is talk about this. And Obama signed an executive order recently expanding on wage transparency on the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act that he signed. Was the first law that he signed.
I think people need to know what their rights are, because a lot of companies, I think, are telling their employees, like employees don't know their rights, so they're giving them rule books that say you can't talk about how much you're making at work, and that's actually against the law.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you have to know that you have every right to talk about these things. And you know, when your boss looks at you and asks you to lie and say don't talk about how much you're getting paid, obviously there's something to hide.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and they're saying, oh, there's no connection between, you know, this transparency thing and unfair wages, but obviously
I feel like it's a very useful thing, particularly with people that do the same thing that you do, right? It's like, you know, you don't need to go to the president of the company and be like, what's your salary? I also think it's better.
Can I just say one thing? Nothing in the world makes me more comfortable. Like, I would literally rather talk about going to the gynecologist than talking about how much money I get paid with anything. It's very personal, and for me, like, I had a lot.
What if you didn't have to talk about it? What if it was like a website? So in this study, UC, I think the UC system did a study where people were allowed to look at their colleagues' salaries online, but not necessarily talk about it with them. And I think that would sort of be a better way to do it.
I think in like a corporate America environment, I think this is something that is great. But I'm freelance. Well, I'm not anymore. I work for Pivot, and hands down every day. But you know, I've written books. I've done a lot of different things. And I don't want anybody knowing what I make, because honestly, half of getting what you want is asking for it and fighting for it.
Right.
And I have had a lot of strong female role models throughout my entire career that showed me how to fight and get what you want. And at a certain point, you have to step up and fight for your worth.
And here's the thing, you know what? I think what you were saying, which is a good point, is don't be afraid to ask. And if you're going to say, I don't want to tell you, fair enough. But at least don't be afraid to ask, and know that you're not going to get fired, or you can't get fired, shouldn't get fired for it.